Hello and welcome back to my channel, Checks Captures Threats, and today's episode is a new series. It's called The Rapid Increase. So, this is where I'm going to be playing 10-minute games, hopefully one every 2 days. So, hopefully you can understand now from the chess guide that we've been doing, and I'm going to try and put this into scenarios in a game that we're going to play. So it's going to be a 10-minute rapid game, 10 minutes each that means. So, there will probably be blunders, there will probably be mistakes, but that is the game of chess. So, hopefully, we can go into this, the first episode, with a win, but let's see. So, obviously I've set out the screen a bit, we'll change the board as well for this series as well. It'll go back to the other one for the chess guide. So, here we go. So, we have a 1548 who plays d3, a very weird opening. So, we're going to play knight f6, get into the centre there. So, he's playing a very, very weird opening for a 1548. So, we're just going to retain the centre. We're going to play proper chess here, as he is doing such stuff. So, going to get our bishops out here. We're not going to go here as well because that could cause, this very symmetrical position. We don't really want that. Now, if he's going to castle, that means that this rook goes off this protection. So that means he only has one protector on there. So if we can put our queen here and he castles, we can win that pawn. Okay, so he now puts pressure on us. So our best option is to retreat here. We could sacrifice, but that opens a rook. So we're just going to either retreat this way or this way. I would probably prefer actually going this way, because then we don't get blocked in over this way. So now he pushes this pawn. Now the issue we've got here is this is maybe the half a mistake, because if he pushes again we are trapped. So ways we can stop this is if we push, we can put our bishop here. That might allow this. So honestly, sacrificing here, maybe pushing out this whole king might be the best idea, because we can castle queenside. So when he captures back, we shall take with the knight here, and there is going to be a pin here, but we can always protect it and move the queen out of the way after. So, we've spent a little bit more time than him. A very weird opening he set. This is something you've got to be a bit careful of when you're in the in this sort of thing. They're going to play weird openings, you've just got to try and go around it. So we could capture here, it's risky. Obviously the pressure they're putting on is this pawn. So we have a few ideas. We could push the pawn. Gives them nearly an outpost. It is an outpost, but then they'll probably look at this. It is probably our best idea here. So, and also you've got to be careful because he is going to have two on here soon. So, what we could do is actually bring the knight back. We do lose the pawn though. So, we've got many ideas to follow here. I think we're going to push this pawn. Okay, so they're not in the best position at the minute. We're probably not at all in a good spot. Obviously, 2 pawns for a bishop isn't the best, and the fact that he has this pin soon. We can always put this pawn here now though, and I think we're going to do it this move because it stops that now and attacks here, and we do not mind a trade here. I think for us that is fine. Okay. And after we capture here, we also have a bit more protection on these pawns as well. And also, what we've got to take into consider is we could have won that pawn there, which would have been quite nice because it would have blocked the bishop in. So, we should not really take the pawn here, because that double pawns us and blocks the queen in. So, and also, this could happen soon. I wouldn't suspect him to do that, because after we take the queen, we're attacking his rook. I would most likely suspect us to castle queenside as well. So, how is that now? He's obviously looking a lot at this sort of battery he's got. So, we could castle queenside right now. I think we will. We've just got to be careful when we move the knight. So, I think we should castle queenside. Now, this also gives us this rook and queen battery. I'm suspecting he might do something like this, which we just have to push here. maybe put the king here, and we got to stop this threat. That's the main aim. So I think we'll capture next, because after he captures we can start our attack. Just got to see what he's going to play. He's not developed 2 of his pieces. That is probably due to his 4 or 5 pawns he moved at the start of the game. Okay, he castles, so very weird. Without the protection that he's got, this could prove to be quite weird. Now, what we can do here is actually very far down the line, probably swap queen here. If we take here, he most likely will have to take the back. And after we capture here, we can play queen to d4, forcing a trade. Now what this means then afterwards, we could have a chance at his rook and winning this pawn, or even get a check here. So we're going to do that. We're a minute below on time, but I don't think there's anything to be scared about there at the minute. There's nothing wrong with just being a minute down, especially as we've got 7 minutes left. So we're going to recapture here. He obviously now has to take back. So there is actually a few ways we could do this. Obviously he's putting pressure here, we've got to be careful, because all he's got to do is do the bishop taking here, retake, and he can win this. So we most likely have to play this anyway. So we are going to do that now. So after he captures, we can capture. This pawn is loose, but we can win this pawn. We have this check, or this knight from here can come over here. So just got to be careful with these 2 pawns, but we seem to have maybe just about survived that opening a middle game. We're slowly going into the end game because the queen's coming off the board, but we'll see. Now we could play queen down here. What this does is this just gives us actually probably a much easier development. Now he could take with the pawn, but then he puts us in a double pawn situation, so we're not going to do that. We're going to take with the knight. If he tries to push, we actually have check and win here. He's now going to block that. So we have a few ideas. Bring this rook over here. Now I would actually say we bring the other rook, because this rook is going to stop these 2 pawns from doing anything. Annoyingly that knight will have to go out, but we're going to push here, because if we push here we might be able to get an attack going. So this knight will block that, but we have ideas of maybe even capturing here and soon having a look at that. There is many ideas here. And also after we capture we still have this check actually. So that's the thing as well. We could have done that just then. If we capture here, which we're going to now because it's free, if he takes back we have a fork. So I'm going to do that. And he captures. So this is his mistake here, as we now give a fork, and it is onto the knight, onto the rook, onto the king, and now that is a whole rook. So we have gained back our disadvantage, and he resigns. So that was an alright game. Bit scruffy in the opening as I had to sacrifice a piece, but as we saw, when you take it slow and you worry about each move, we was able to get that in the end. So going to go over our game review, as we can do that, and I don't think it will be very good for us.
You saw your chance for the win with a nice tactic and you took it.
So 73.3% for me, 2 great moves, and that I think, don't know how this guy speaks, so we're going to that. So this is called the Mises opening. Never played that, but as we see here, very slow going into it. I didn't really know exactly what to play because it's such a outrageous opening, and this is where they say this here now. They say that this is blunder because actually all we needed to do was take. I think I worried a bit too much about it because I thought, oh, what happens after they take here, and what would it be? So they're saying h5, even though they can push. See, I like this idea because it kind of ruined his structure. But, so if we go back to... We're only 1 point down still, so that's actually not too bad. They didn't like that, we should capture the pawn. That was fair. Okay, they weren't particularly fond of that, but as we see here, that was their mistake. They didn't really like us doing this, but as we see here, they're saying it's bad moves, but we've already gained our advantage back to 0.3. So that's very good. Now we played rook there, we missed that, as I said before. And here is the blunder, which puts us 5 points in ahead. So that was the first game today. Hopefully you enjoyed this new series. We're going to continue this for as long as we want. There is no set goal in this, so we're just going to get better and better. I don't play rapid, so it's also a time scramble for me as well, because I'm a blitz player. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you learnt something today, and how we can force a piece from moving away here into a fork. So hopefully as well in the next few episodes of this we can actually play a normal opening, but that's something to get used to. Maybe we have to see. I was trying to use opening principles, but as we see, it was just so confusing that maybe you sometimes just have to have that struggle. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and thank you, and bye bye.